Guys, welcome back to the Physique Factory podcast with myself and Connor. And today we're going to speak about the end of a dieting phase. So, what do we do once we've reached a certain result?
Yeah, and you could go on for a long time in the subject. So I think we've even done one on like reverse dieting before. So maybe we'll cover that maybe briefly, but we'll not go too much on that. We'll go on kind of what's beyond that because I think we have covered that in quite a few instances. But yeah, I suppose the first thing after your diet is not just saying, right, I'm fucking done. Let's pack it in, and then yeah, we'll go back to what we were doing before.
That's it. You always need to think like, what's the next goal? So once you hit that goal, think, right, what do we need to do next? Even if it's like short term, long term, maybe if you want to do another photo shoot the next year, or you compete in the next year or the following year, you need to plan that shit out with like you can't just like fall off the rails and think, right, fuck it mode. You need to make sure you're like working towards something because shit can hit the fan badly if you don't have any structure like that.
What do you think of like 'cause you'll get the odd client who you do help reach a goal, which is great, and then you're like, okay, what do you want to do now? And they're like, just want to maintain. What do you think of maintenance?
You're just not going anywhere, are you? You're literally maintaining, aren't you? There's no progress.
Do you think it ever truly exists for people, or do you think they're either slightly going backwards or they're either slightly going forwards? Do you think there is that in between where you can just stay the same and that's it?
Well, I do. There's a stage where I do like to run maintenance phases. Um, I'll cover that quickly. I
Yeah.
don't want to bore anyone out with it. So if you're moving from like a fat loss phase and you want to go into a gaining phase, or you've done like a mini cut, then you're going into like another gaining phase or post show. That's a whole different topic. But you want somewhere to bridge the gap because there's a lot of research saying that once you've gone through like a gaining phase, there's a delayed muscle growth window for like 4 to 6 weeks, roughly. So when you've been in a surplus for that long, and if we're going straight into a diet or a big deficit after that, the potential is that the muscle mass we've gained, it's more than likely it's going to come off easier. If you get me, it's going to be easier to lose it. So post that gaining phase, we want to stay in the 4 to 6 week like maintenance around about that, holding that body weight if we can. The initial like week or two, we might see a big drop in body weight in terms of like food volume and your GI tracts, bit of water, glycogen dropping off. But then after that period, then for the next like 3, 4, 5 weeks, maintain that body weight, and then you'll be in a good position to go into like that fat loss phase rather than just going cutting, bulking, cutting, bulking. This is where we can start having problems.
I'll be honest, I've never heard that before. I'd never heard of that, but I've kind of personally and with clients, I've kind of automatically done that anyway, by not really intentionally, but it kind of happens as part of the process because like you'll build someone's calories up or you build up to your kind of peak bulk, and then when you're coming back down, like I don't tend to do it that fast anyway. I tend to do it quite slow. So like I'll again use myself as an example. Every time I've done like a diet or a show prep or something, there's always that period, like the first 4 to 6 weeks, like what you're kind of talking about, where yeah, calories are coming down, but I always feel like I'm still like building muscle at that point because
Yeah,
you're not in a deficit yet. You're dropping that little bit of water weight, as you say, that little bit of like glycogen and that. But yeah, like so I've never really meant to do that or thought about that or even heard that, but I've also done it by mistake, you might say. So yeah, that's interesting. I'll need to look into that actually
it's
because
pretty cool. Yeah, delayed muscle growth. That's what it's called.
yeah. And sorry, what you're saying is it's easier for it to come off in that first 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, so we want to solidify that muscle mass that we've gained and potentially still gaining muscle, aren't we? So, but if we
Yeah.
go straight into a big deficit, then we haven't got that. So we could lose some of that muscle mass that we've put on because it's not been around that long. It's new muscle. It's not going to hang about. And then we're getting that like delayed onset, like gaining muscle. So if we stay around about maintenance, then we've got a potential to gain muscle and maintain the muscle that we've gained during that off season or that gaining phase.
That's cool. So you will get some coaches. I know some coaches will do like, okay, we're finishing like bulking here or gaining here, and then we're just going to drop 1,000 calories. We're going to go straight into a deficit because this, the calculator says this is your fucking deficit. I've never done it like that just because I suppose personally, I've never done it personally like that, and I've never been coached like that either. So it's always been my bias to slowly bring it down, gradually bring it down. So as I say, I've kind of stumbled on this by mistake, but then that would make, that big sudden drop that some people do, that would make that kind of potentially a bad thing. So yeah, it's interesting.
Well, it works what you're doing anyway. It's about right what you said, so that fits in line with it.
Yeah, yeah, but like I've never really tried the big drop, like going like all of a sudden like dropping 1,000 calories and just like going straight into a deficit. So you wonder then about the if that's the case, mini cutting is kind of fucking pointless.
Mm,
Hmm.
that's it. So put
Just not to do one.
it is a difficult one, isn't it? That's what it's that phase. So if you've been pushing for that long and you think, right, I want to do a mini cut, where'd you go with that? What do you do with that? So would you do like a 4 weeks maintenance block before you do a mini cut? So it turns out to be like, say, we're doing an 8 week mini cut, it turns out to be a 12 weeks reduced calories, and not in a gaining phase. So
But going back to where we're starting, we'll start from the start. Like if you just finished a dieting phase and you're looking for what to do next, like I think your starting point probably is the main thing to consider because like if you're going to go into a gaining phase, you need to give it time. You're not going to gain much muscle in 12 weeks. Naturally, by the way. I'm talking from a natural perspective. James might have a slightly
I'll
different.
remove myself from this conversation.
Well, naturally, you're not going to make much changes in 12 weeks. Maybe your first like bulking phase, yeah, you might. But like, if I do a 12-week bulking phase and then I diet down again, I'm not going to look any different. I'm going to be the same.
Yeah,
Um,
you need to stay for even like people who are enhanced, you need to be taking, you need to be staying in like a surplus for like at least 16 weeks, at least 16 to 20 weeks. That's sweet. That's perfect.
and it's
You want to
something
be,
you've got to realize you're going to have to dedicate time to. So like then, in my opinion, you're better to go into that being pretty fucking lean because the window of opportunity then and how much you can push up is a lot bigger. And what I mean by that is like, say like when you first start the gym, say you're 30% body fat and you diet down to 10% body fat, and you'd probably be fairly happy anywhere between 10 and 20% body fat, then you've got that 10% to play about with when you're
yeah.
going to bulk because you're going to gain some fat when you're bulking. So if you're happy or you're happy to go up to 20%, then you've got that 10% to play with. But say you only diet down at 15% and you're happy, like you're only happy to go up to 20%, you've only got 5% to play with. Does that make sense?
Less amount of time spent in that surplus. And really, like we said, we want to spend like a decent amount of time there, 16 to 20 weeks. And then it depends, like obviously, how fat you are, because from a health standpoint, we don't want to be starting to gain body weight, body fat in general, if our body fat's really fucking high, because inflammation, insulin sensitivity causes a lot of issues like that. So
Yeah.
we want our body fat to be in a good range from a health standpoint. So I normally don't like pushing people any 18% max,
Yeah.
something like that. I don't want to see people's body like fat above 18% because that's when like health markers can hit the window.
Yeah, I'll let it come up a little bit beyond that, I'll be honest. Like I'm not against a big bulk, but again, it's within reason and it's within how much do you want to diet it down? Because like again, the reason I'm not against it is because I've had good results from it. Like
Yeah.
even right now, I'm probably sitting about what 20% body fat right now. Probably. Nah, maybe
Nah, I don't think
maybe
you're
I'm
that.
being
I
harsh
don't
on
think you're
myself, but
20% body fat. We're gonna say. I mean, it's different as well. So females and like males, females, I reckon about 24%. Males, 18-ish.
But Sophie took a picture of me last night, and like I was wearing, that black gas top you've got that you get that's like the sweatshirt one,
Oh yeah.
that seems to have the thermal one. I was wearing that, and I'm like turned like this, and all you can see is like my neck, and my neck looks fat as fuck, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to diet down again.
And you've got no neck.
Yeah. Oh, I've got a lot of neck. That's the problem. It's all merging into one.
That's it.
But like again, like I don't think like getting to the point where you can maybe just like still see like some definition, but you not quite see all the abs. I'm not against that, but again, like you've just got to understand obviously what's ahead of you once you do that because there's a lot of dieting down. But yeah, getting beyond like getting to the point where you're like flabby, yeah, it's probably not a good idea.
Yeah, when it starts hanging over, then you know it's you pushed it too far. Then in terms of actually like the rate of gain, what do you normally go for each week?
Um, Well, what I've done personally, again, in this like gaining phase, I was actually taking it so slow to begin with. I gained like a kilo in like 6 weeks, the first 6 weeks of it. And to be fair, like what have I gained now? I was like, what, 72? And now I'm like 78. So I'm like, about 16 weeks in and I've gained 6 kilos. Maybe I'm 17 weeks in, but 6 kilos. So what is that?
I'd say that's good. That's a good rate of
Yeah.
gain. That's
Probably all
decent.
right.
That's perfect. I've got like a marker what I want to see like each week. Obviously, it depends on averages, throughout the course of a month. I always go back to that when I'm looking at like if we need to hold calories, increase them, decrease them, etc. So it's like the margin in between like 0.25 and zero point 0.5 each week
Yeah.
of body weight percentage going up. Then if we're over that and there's a big increase over that, then it might be time to like decrease calories. If we're in the middle of that, that's sweet. But then if we're lower than that, then that indicates, right, cool, we need to like ramp it up a little bit.
But that's one side of the equation. But if someone's gained like 2 kilos in the past 2 weeks, but they look all right, then I'm not going to complain. Like obviously the look's got to be there too, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it depends, doesn't it? Just don't
Yeah.
want that. Because you can gain stuff like that because I've seen it like from a week to week basis where they've gained a lot of weight one week and the physique thought, all right, look full, look pretty cool. The next week they're fucking blown out, they look fat. I'm like, shit, it looks soft as anything and really watery. So I'm like, right now we need to pull back. So it's just being aware because it can hit you like that, especially in the check-in pictures.
You're not gonna gain like a kilo a week for a sustained period of time anyway, I suppose.
Oh
That's,
no, yeah.
if it's like 6 weeks gaining a kilo a week, you're probably going to be gaining fat. That's the thing. Muscle doesn't go on that quick. But like, I don't get tied to a certain amount, but like, you've got to take in that bigger picture, don't you? So like, and I think for some people, it is good to have that. Okay, we're going to try and increase by this a week because like some people may be worried about fat gain, and then that brings me nicely on to the point of I think that's where a lot of people let themselves down. They are so afraid of fat gain, they don't push it up, and they don't like get any stronger as well. Because like that's the other thing to add to this. If you've gained like so I've gained 6 kilos, I've got a lot stronger in all my movements. But if you gain
You've definitely gained muscle then. If you've got a lot stronger, performance has increased and body weight's increased, you've definitely gained muscle with that.
but if you're gaining fat or not gaining fat, but gaining weight and you're not increasing your lifts in the gym, it's like, well,
Performance is not increasing, then yeah, then it's gonna be fucking blubber.
yeah, yeah, that's it. But like, go back to what I was saying. A lot of people do get worried about that. It's like, oh, don't know if I want to put my calories up. Like, even like you would think that's going to be worse than girls, but honestly, the amount of guys that have dieted down and then I'm putting their calories up, and they're like, you sure about this? 2,500 calories? Don't know. I'm like, fucking hell, mate. Like that's like
Yeah,
me.
you need it. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
I see it so many times. I had a client who I worked with last year. He competed, but then he was worried about pushing up and gaining like muscle. He was like, "Oh, my abs are going." I was like, "They were still there. They were still visible." Didn't gain that much fat. He just wasn't stage lean, and he got to his head and he just fell off completely. And then he just was doing like an hour's cardio a day. Like, what are you doing? And just not tracking things in the gym, doing random fucking workouts. And like, what are you doing, mate?
It's a tough period that, isn't it? And we talked about, remember we had Josh on the podcast and we talked about it one time, Josh McHale. And like we talked about that post show period. That is a really tough period, especially the first time you do it. Or the post diet period as well, by the way. It's not just people who compete that get that. It's obviously anyone that diets down, sees himself leaner than they've ever been before. In fact, I've got a client right now that I can think of who actually done a crash diet before she started with me. She lost a lot of body fat. She looked great, she was lean. And then now that like she's not as lean as she was before, everything just feels shit compared to that because you've been to this standard all of a sudden.
Yeah,
You're not at that anymore. But like it's part of the process. And like what I said to her is like you almost need to learn to enjoy this part of the process and be able to focus on not just the physique and new highs with the physique, but like, okay, why don't we focus on getting stronger and performance?
performance is where
Yeah,
it goes.
is
Yeah,
the
that's it.
but it's tough. I get that because like I've been there as well. Like and you've done it too. Like it's a really tough period just to like get your head around because you've looked like fucking He-Man. If you're a man anyway. And then all of a sudden you just feel like you don't look good. And like especially if you get to the stage of competing or you get that lean, like and then you eat a load of shit and you just turn into a watery mess. It's not a good look, is it?
You're always comparing yourself to where you've been at your best, aren't you? And the only way you're going to get better than that is going through a period of gaining muscle, isn't it? And pushing up your calories, and then you're going to look better next time. All right, you might not look as lean as what you would do in the moment where you're doing that, but in terms of like health markers, your social life being
Yeah.
back to normal, because if you're doing a prep, then you've pretty much got no social life in terms of going out for food or anything like that. So yeah, that needs the return. Because you can't be just not enjoying yourself for that long and then going into it even further after a prep. and then just getting all your blood work right in terms of like your thyroid and that, because if you're constantly on like in a deficit, that's going to impact your thyroid massively.
Yeah, and that's it. It's looking at the positives of the gaining phase. It's like rather than saying, "Oh fuck, I'm not going to be as lean," and focusing on the negatives of not being in a dieting phase. It's like why don't we look at the positives of being in this phase? And it's cup half full sort of thing as well. Because like you'll find it a lot of clients. The biggest problem, or one of their problems, is the fact that they're always looking at the negatives. Like they could have so I had someone that had a great week last week, right? I looked through their targets and that, and they hit every single target. They're like, oh yeah, thought I was doing all right, but I ate a bit of chocolate on Saturday night. I'm like, all right,
Is that it? The
yeah,
minor setback.
within your calories and within your macros, and you've still hit your
Oh,
fucking protein.
yeah.
It's like, what's the problem? Why are you focusing on that one negative thing, which isn't even a negative, by the way? But it's like instead of focusing on all the things that they do well, they focus on that one negative thing. So like, coming out of a dieting phase or a prep or something, you focus on all the negatives of, oh, I don't look like that anymore. But why don't you focus on the positives of, oh, well, now I can go out and have these social occasions. Now my calories are going up. Now I can eat, whatever. I can butter my fucking toast again. Hallelujah.
Yeah, I had something similar when someone checked in with me the other week. There was like, unfortunately, I couldn't stick to the plan. The last 2 days I was away, but managed to hit my protein and the calories. I was like, so you just did that, like hit if it fits your macros and you've not gone over your calories set and you've hit the protein
Yeah.
goal. So I was like, that's perfect. I was like,
That's
that's a
exactly
fucking
what I would
win.
have told you to do.
That's a big fucking win. You've gone away and you've ate out and somehow managed to do that. So it's fair play to you. I was like, that's a massive win.
It's a big part of the job as well, isn't it? Like you're always like trying to point out the positives to people who are probably quite harsh on themselves. So it's a good thing to be able to do. Like a lot of check-ins, I will literally be doing that, but you've not done that bad. You've dropped a kilo this week. You've done this. You've done that. It's like well done. But yeah, like that is a big thing. It's just focusing on the positives of the next phase. And like I don't know about you, but I actually really enjoy a gaining phase. Like I can quite happily go into a gaining phase. I mean, I've been in it since August last year or September last year. So.
I don't know if that's. I'm going to. Well, I'm trying to plan everything out because I'm starting prep in May next year, and then how long am I going to run the skating phase for? I'm not going to do a mini cup during it. I'm going to try and stay relatively lean. I'm in a really good position at the moment, but I'm going to do like a maintenance block over Christmas just because I know there's going to be extra food there, so it just makes sense pulling down to maintenance and then pushing up again in the new year up until prep starts. Before prep starts, four
So
to six maintenance block again, and then prep.
that's a good question or a good thing to bring up. How long should you stay in a gaining phase for? Like, so we've
Uh,
talked about the minimum term, but how long should you do it for?
it depends on fucking hell, psychology. So how much can you keep pushing food for in terms of like your appetite and stuff like that? Is it like you're getting over a meal thinking, fucking hell, I can't eat this anymore? You're feeling lethargic, you're feeling knackered, you feel beat up in the gym. You like visually, you've got a lot softer. You're fat as fuck. You've gained a lot. Then
Whoa, whoa, are you
fat as
talking to
fuck.
me?
Yeah, yeah. This is just a little,
Just having a go at me. It's like, you know what? You're a fat fuck.
But
No,
yeah, I
you're right.
mean, if it, yeah, visually, if you've gained a lot of body fat and you think, right, this is the limit, then it'd be time to cut it. But yeah, anything like that, really, that'd be the time to cut the off
You
season.
know, what I notice it myself is I kind of want a cut now. Like I'm looking forward to it. Like I see, like I look back at pictures of myself leading, I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to do that again. But whereas like maybe if you asked me 3 or 4 months ago, I wouldn't be like that. So like I can feel it coming, but like
I
I'm not.
reckon you reckon you should prep at the same time as me, Nick, Christian, and well, I don't even know if Christian said he's going to compete yet, but well, he's not like put it out there, but he said, oh yeah, I might do. So there's going to be a lot of us like prepping at the same time.
I'll see what happens. Obviously I have some big plans that might intervene with that. So we'll see. But then actually, you know what? That's a bullshit excuse. If I wanted to do it, I would do it. Wouldn't matter what fucking plans I've got, I would do it. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what like. I don't even know if I want to compete in the bodybuilding show or anything, but I might diet. We'll see. I'll do something next year. Will do
Should
something.
we, well, diet down at the same time. If it's not competing, we'll do a photo shoot together, the Physique
Yeah.
Factory photo shoot.
Yeah,
Can
just
launch that. We
after
can
that.
we can get all our clients doing photo shoots with us.
Yeah, it'd be quite cool to be fair.
Look out, starting May.
Yeah. Well, are you starting in May, you said?
Yeah, I'm starting diet in May, so if everyone wants to jump on a photo shoot challenge, we can launch one of those.
I think I might be going on holiday in June, so might do it for that. But then, who am I fucking kidding? I'm going on a family holiday. Who am I going to impress?
Is it?
I don't think Grace cares if her dad's got abs by the pool.
Flexing in front of her. What do you think of Daddy's biceps?
I'm sitting there as like a chubby natty who looks like they don't lift around the pool, and I'm like, I wonder if these guys know how much I bench.
Just going up asking him just out of being self-conscious was like, how much do you bench? That's how I bench more.
That hotel I went to last year in Turkey, or this year, sorry, in Turkey. We're thinking about going back there, and I remember obviously it's all the techno gym kit, like the plate loaded kit and that, and I can just load it up. It's just quite easy, eh? So like, I look like the fucking man in that gym. Looking forward to it.
Why does every hotel gym have that? And I was watching some place in America. It's on that Billionaires Row.
Yeah.
You know, have you seen it like 51st Street or something like that? Anyway, there's this apartment that's 125 million to buy,
Is
and
that
it's
all?
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, it's only yeah, it's fine
I
that, isn't
get
it?
one actually.
Get two. But yeah, this apartment that's that much. You know, it says, oh, we have all the amenities as well included. We have a very own gym. And took him into the gym. It was just a whole fucking techno gym. That's like you paid 125 million for a fucking apartment. And you walk into a gym full of techno fucking gym shit.
They call it state of the art equipment often.
Yeah,
And you're
state of
like,
the art.
yeah, well, I mean, it looks nice.
Yeah, state of the fucking art.
It's a state, all right, that's for sure. But I had someone, so I done a feedback form for the gym, but I done it for members and non-members because I wanted to see the opinions of non-members. And someone gave me the opinion. They're like, all the equipment is dated. Think you need to update it with new stuff. And I was like, you have no idea. You have no fucking clue. You have no idea how lucky you are to have some of that equipment there. Like.
But people don't know, do they?
No, they don't know, and they're not to know. But that's part of my marketing for the gym. I'm planning on making a reel on that one, so explaining exactly how it works. Um, but yeah, getting back to bulking, how long should you do it for? We never really,
Depends.
we never really gave a straight answer, did we?
I'd say I'd 16 to 20 weeks, but you need to be in fairly decent shape when you do start bulking. Nail that rate again each week to make sure you're not getting too fat. And yeah, if you do get too fat, then it'd be time to cut the bulk. So
Yeah.
some people might be cutting the bulk sooner than later if they're gaining too much body fat.
Yeah, but a problem I find with not so much guys that are kind of competing, but like guys that aren't competing that are quite into the gym, they'll dedicate themselves to a cutting phase, but they'll not really do a proper gaining phase. Like I done a poll on my Instagram the other day, and like 70% of people said they've never done a proper gaining phase before, which is mad. Like
That's about it.
and then, so you're cutting, right? You're doing a diet, getting your abs out, great. Voila, you look amazing. And then basically come off that, fuck about, don't diet, but don't really properly push calories up either. Still train, but like not really with the same, like people will go at it on the dieting phase. They'll be like, what's the word I'm looking for? They'll tick the boxes, they'll be consistent. Whereas as soon as they come out of that, they're just a bit like, yeah, I'll eat a bit more. I'll train. Oh, maybe miss that session here. Maybe miss that session there. And they'll
But
get a
can't
bit.
be after eating that meal.
Yeah, yeah, and like they just don't really dedicate themselves to it the same. So then they come back, and again, as a client or something, they come back and are like, right, I'm ready to cut again. I'm like, okay, cool, but this is fucking Groundhog Day. We're just doing the same shit again. Like you're not going to look any different because you're not putting the work in the meantime.
Exactly. Exactly that.
It's a year-round thing. If you want to build a physique, right? If you just want to be lean and you want to stay lean, cool. You probably don't need to do much of a gaining phase. But if you want to build a physique and you want to come back next time with more muscle and more definition, because by the way, if you've not got a lot of muscle and you die down, you're not going to have that same definition. Like it's having muscle that like creates that full muscles where you can see the like what you call it, the
Striations,
well, not even so much striations, but like the separation between the muscles.
separation.
That's
Yeah.
like, a lot of people are looking for that, but they don't really know how to explain it. And they don't realize that it's like, okay, yeah, we go do a diet now, but you're not going to get that straight away. You'll get a decent look straight away. If you've got a little bit of muscle, then that'll help. But the more muscle you've got, the better it looks. Like, more chiseled it looks. So when I
No.
diet down now, I look fucking a million times better than when I dieted down in fucking 2013 when I didn't
Yeah,
have much muscle.
Exactly. That's why it's so important. You need to improve. That's why it's called an improvement phase. So the next time you diet down, hopefully you've improved.
That's the fairy way of saying it. You know, the what do you call it? What do you call the people that are snowflakes? Yeah, the snowflake way of saying it, the improvement season, because you don't want to call it a gaining phase because that may insinuate that we're gaining body fat, and some people might get upset by that.
Which we are. We're going to gain muscle, body fat, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm packing some here. But again, as long as it translates, as you say, like as long as you're getting stronger, I think you're probably on the right path.
Yeah, for
What about
sure.
training? Do you change your training up between dieting and
Yeah. Yeah. So
do
higher
it?
volumes. Yeah, higher volumes. It's somewhat higher volumes. So I'll take you through a cutting phase to a fucking bulking phase or whatever. But what I'll do in terms of like a maintenance block, that'll be relatively like low volumes, just so we can recover from like the higher volumes that we've been training at, get our say our joints beat up, drop some fatigue off. And then as we transition into maybe like a dieting phase from that maintenance phase, increase the training volume just ever so slightly, a little bit at the start of that dieting phase, just to maintain as much muscle mass as we can. Then obviously, as fatigue builds up, as the more body fat we drop down that volume slightly, just so we can make sure recovery is on point. And then obviously deload the odd time if we do need to. But then transition into like an off season, you can have like high volume blocks. So I've got an 8 week high volume block that I'm pretty much running from next week. I'm running at baseline volume now, but next week high volume block. So on the areas that I do want to take up, I really bring up delts and legs. So delts going to be easier to recover from, but legs, fucking hell. So there's no way I could increase volume everywhere on the program. It's going to be specifically in areas that I do need to bring up the most. So instead of doing things like straight sets, I'll be doing drop sets, rest pauses, extending sets with maybe some length and partials. I'm
Are you
doing
still doing one leg day? Or are you doing two?
two
Right.
leg days.
Yeah.
So I did say so mainly glutes and hams today, and then Saturday quads. Even though they get a bit of like touched up on them both, but split it up like that because my knees can get a bit bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just allocating the volumes to the areas that you do want to grow because you're just going to run into a lot of fatigue build up if you are putting everything everywhere. So focus on the areas that you want to improve and then take up the volume on those for a certain amount of time and then just run through cycles of that.
Yeah. I am. I'll be honest with you, mine's doesn't really change. Stays pretty much.
So,
Like I'll do things like if I want to bring up a certain area, I will like adjust my workouts to suit. But volume wise, pretty much keep it the same all year round. And I've always had intentions to do it, and I've always thought about doing it, and I've written up plans to do it. But I always revert back to what I like doing. I always just revert back to doing the same shit that I enjoy doing. I pretty much my training philosophy is I'll do two working sets a lot of the time, and they'll be pretty high intense. Sometimes I'll do three sets, sometimes I'll do four sets as well. And that's just if I fancy it. If I feel like those first two haven't been enough, then that's that. But usually in the kind of bigger movements at the start of a workout, I will just do two working sets. Like for example, what did I do last night? Nothing major to be honest, but like I'll go back to Monday night. I done bench press was my first exercise. Two working sets. That's it. Incline cable press after that. I done like three or four in that.
yeah,
That
it's not that demanding, is it? Like a cable press. It's not as challenging as a bench press in terms of like systemically, if you
yeah.
get me. Because
But I
it's
don't. I don't like. I don't mean to do more, if you know what I mean. Like if I've done two sets on that incline press and I'm like, actually, I feel like I've done enough there, that'll do. I'll leave it at that. So it's almost like a bit like intuitive the way that I train. It's not necessarily the way that I do it for clients. I would say a lot less thought goes into my own training than it does clients. And that's what I wanted to ask you is like, do you sit and like plot all this out then? Do you sit and map out all your own training?
Yeah, because basically I'm my own coach now, aren't I? So I need to make sure I'm on the ball. I do a check in with myself each week. I fill my spreadsheet out, make sure things are moving in the right direction, see what I'm taking, see what happens, and yeah, staying on top of things like that.
Yeah, see, I just like I have all the intentions to do things like that for myself, but then I just get carried away with, well, I need to do this for clients, I need to do this for clients, and then I just end up not doing it for myself. And it comes to my workout, and I'm setting my logbook, and I'm like, right, well, what did I do last week for this? Okay, I'm just going to do that again. I'm just going to do the same workout. I'll maybe change the odd wee thing, but Yeah, but like I've got a structure. I do pretty much, I do the same workouts every week, and I just fucking build on top of that and aim to get stronger. If it doesn't happen some weeks, cool. It's not the end of the world. But it's very laid back and like to be fair, it's like one of those things like I should probably hire a coach because I've not got time to think about my own training. But and I probably will at some point, but not right now.
There's a lot of good coaches out there, especially the ones who I know and knock around with. They're very good coaches, so it's not like there's a short amount of decent coaches to go to.
Yeah, that's true. And like it's cool to see just even just like talking to you about it as well. It's like it's cool to see what other people are doing and it gives you
Definitely.
ideas on something else. But
Everyone's got their own little approach to things, aren't they? So it's pretty cool. You learn more like with each person you work with.
yeah,
And some might work well, some might not for yourself. But again, there's always going to be a reason why someone's doing something. So
yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I am with my clients, I tend to cycle through the volume a bit more often than I would with like myself because
Yeah.
I just tend to try and find the point for them that feels good, if you know what I mean. So like they're recovering well from it, they're making good progress, and they like it as well. Because some people do like high volume, some people enjoy that, other
Yeah.
people fucking hate
I
it.
think what one-to-one clients though is totally different because it can differ for each session or whatever
Yeah,
when they show, oh, I'm feeling battered today. Right, we're not going to do any fucking heavy leg presses or heavy squatting today because if you're feeling beat up, knackered, tired, that's just going to make things worse and you've got more of a likelihood of getting injured. And
yeah,
that's when you adapt things and then think, right, what volume should we train at? What things can we push? So you adapt things each session, mainly with those one-to-one clients who only train with you in the gym. But if
yeah.
it's actual like clients online, then that's when you do start like plotting out things and whatnot.
Yeah, you've got to kind of teach them to learn about that kind of thing as well, know when to pull back and that as well, which I tend to think people are actually pretty good at knowing when to pull back. They're almost like too good at it, and sometimes you're like, yeah, you don't really need to pull back here. You're just being a bit of a
Exactly.
shitbag.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm feeling a bit shit. I was like, we've only been running this volume block for about 2 weeks. We can push this even further.
Yeah.
So
But tired today. I skipped the squats. Like, all right, come on now. But no, it's cool. It's cool to hear that. And again, like, I'm not saying what I do is right. I'm saying I probably think what you do is probably a better idea. I don't know. It's just the way I tend to view my training. I don't like to overcomplicate my training either because then I think I sometimes feel it becomes a bit of a not a bit of a chore really when I like have to follow a
yeah,
plan.
that's it. You just want to go in the gym and enjoy it, don't you? At the end of the day, and if you are progressing, then that's the main thing.
Yeah, like so. Again, something that I'm maybe doing. I am doing pretty much the same workouts every week. But if I've got two exercises at the beginning of each workout, that I'm doing for that body part every week, and I'm
Just
progressing them, yeah, then I'm not really arsed what the rest of the workout consists of. And if I fancy doing a fucking machine press instead of a cable press, cool. It's not the
yeah,
end of the world, is it? And plus, so
yeah,
obviously, like my gym's quite small, so if someone's on the cables, you're fucked. Or if
yeah.
someone breaks the cables like they did today, you're fucked.
If someone what?
Well, there's someone like it's not like they intentionally broke them, but like with the free motion, there's like a bit on the end of it. Well, all cables, there's a bit on the end of it. You know the I don't even know what you'd call that. You know the thing.
Plastic thing.
Yeah, the thing that's right at the end of the cables, and then you
Yeah,
onto that. So the cable came out of that, and it's obviously just like at the end of its life, but it was all frayed and everything. So I had to like cut the cable to a bit where it's all like not frayed, and then get it back in there. But like, cause the hole's a lot smaller in the cable, so I had to fucking take some of the rubber off the casing to actually get it to fit in WD-40 it, and then you just like tighten it onto it. It's the first time
yeah.
I've ever done that, so it was a bit of figuring out like.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, so like my plan this afternoon was to get like the rest of the week's content done. I got one fucking stupid video done.
It's funny though.
Yeah, I'm glad you think so.
Yeah, I've reshared it anyway for you, so
Yeah, when I go back on my phone after this, it'll be like 100K views. Smash.
yeah, imagine that. Let's have a look. So it'll be
I was actually putting a picture of you up the last time I was on.
Mike commented on it.
Which mic? And
Um,
we know a lot of mics.
yeah, Mike Harrison. That's quite.
Did I tell you about the one I sent him?
No, which was it?
Um, So there's this mentor, like business mentor, going about, and what he was doing was he was having people within his business like doing a loom recording of people's pages, right? So like your
Seen
page.
it. It's been going everywhere. I've
Yeah,
seen
did
it.
you see it? Yeah. And like, oh, this guy's got a lot of potential in that, or you should definitely reach out to him. And
Is it one
basically,
about you? Did he send you that?
no, I never got one of them yet. I'm looking for one. So if people from that certain mentorship hear about this, please give me one. I want bummed up because like, oh, that's all they're doing. They're just
There
basically,
can
oh,
only be three mentorships. No, three. There's only three mentorships who I think can do that, and I know one of them already. But it's probably yeah. There's probably three of them that are doing it.
well, put it this way, the guy from the video had a Northern Irish accent, so that will give away potentially who the mentor is. Um, his name rhymes with Dill Jam.
Oh, fuck, he's doing it as well. Christ.
Yeah, so like someone sent that to someone, and then they shared it within a group, and then Mike and I had seen it. So I done a mistake one of Mike's page. I was like, oh, not sure about this, not sure about that. He says he's he's got tattoos and everything, but he's also got these glasses to try and look too sophisticated. I mean, what are you trying to be? You trying to be sophisticated, or are you trying to be this hard man kind of look with the tattoos and that? Just I can't remember what it was. A lot of shite, just to wind him up. But yeah, I don't even know what we're talking about there, to be fair. It's got
Neither do
quite
I.
a lot of it's got quite a lot of comments, to be fair. Don't know if it's a useful bit of content for anyone, but anyway.
It's it's engaging.
Yeah, I mean, what I would take from it is don't try the silica gel.
I don't think anyone has.
You know what? Like where this has come from, you asked earlier where that came from, is the fact that I open these and I look at the silica gel every time it's in it and it says do not eat. And I'm like,
No shit.
why have they got to put that message on there? Like
I
someone's
bet someone out there has definitely ate it.
you know what? Yeah, let's just give it a go. So,
But I got a fucking new thing the other day, that Ninja Creamer. Have you seen those?
oh yeah, yeah. What have you
So
been
I
doing?
got one, and anyway, it made me this is me being stupid. I didn't know how it fucking worked. I just thought, oh, I'm just gonna whack my fucking yogurt in it with my fruit, whack it in it, and then see what happens. And I pulled it out, and it was just like a smoothie. I was like, ah, click some frozen yogurt. Why is it not maybe frozen yogurt? Turns out you've got to fucking freeze it first, then put it in. I didn't realize I thought it freezed it when he did it, but obviously it's not going to take 5 minutes to fucking freeze it, is it?
I thought that was
It's
no point in it. But we
yeah, I
have
was like,
a Ninja soup maker that we never use. But according to Sophie, you can do the same thing in the soup maker.
just blend everything.
Yeah, is that what it does? It just blends it. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's got 10 different options. It can make ice cream, gelato. I thought gelato was ice cream. And
Here we are.
yeah, frozen yogurt, smoothies, all that sort of shit. There's 10 different things, which I don't know, fuck knows. But yeah, you need to freeze it, make it freeze it, and then it creams it itself. So it's got different settings if it wants to make it into an ice cream or make it into like a smoothie or frozen yogurt. I don't know the difference between frozen yogurt and ice cream, but
Yeah, I suppose one's made with yogurt. But
yeah,
one of my mates, he makes like so he gets like protein powder and makes like some sort of like ice cream out of that. So like all through his prep, he was just posting up like this ice cream stuff that he was eating at night, and I bet that makes prep go a lot easier.
yeah, but
Um,
that's why I bought it. I thought it's going to be interesting. This, I'll try it. So I'll do that over prep, I reckon.
yeah. So you're not starting till May.
No, not till May because the show's in September, October, so this time next year.
I know you're going to self-coach now.
We'll see. Maybe go back to Josh. There won't be anyone else. It'll be self-coaching or Josh.
Yeah, yeah. I think like Josh is a dead on guy, and you've got a good experience with him. It would be daft to get a coach for prep like last minute that you've not worked with before, because like obviously like they need to get to know your body. So if you were going to go with someone else, you kind of need to do it now, sort of thing, wouldn't you? Which again, it just brings me on to another point of like like a lot of the kind of what the bodybuilding world calls gen pop clients, like as if they're some sort of fucking special population for some reason. But anyway, but like normal people that sign up with you for coaching, like, they come in, they want a diet straight away, and it's like, there's a whole process almost that you could do with doing before a diet, just to get to
Yeah,
know how someone works and, do a bit of a kind of like a priming phase sort of thing. And
yeah. Lay the foundations.
with the bulking thing and with the cutting thing and with everything to do with coaching, like people want it all to happen fast, 12 weeks here, 8 weeks here, and like, yeah, it's a long term project. I cannot stress that enough to anyone thinking about doing coaching. It is a long term project.
It
So
is.
it's a good note to finish on because I need to go eat some food. Playing football this evening, so I need to get
Nice.
some food down before like, because see if you get that meal timing wrong, you fucker, you're going to feel that in your
You
stomach.
in?
Yeah, it's not good. Even right now, I actually feel like sometimes, depending on how my digestion is, sometimes 2 hours isn't enough. Um, I'm gonna have some potatoes as well, so yeah, see how
Taste.
that goes down. Yeah, no, should probably just eat some yogurt and a banana. We'll be fine. But yeah, cool. Right, we'll wrap it up at that. If you enjoyed that, guys, then that's great. Listen to the next one. We'll see you there.